Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Halloween. I don't know why I say that. I hate this holiday, and I don't mean to be a bummer for you guys. Some people really like Halloween. I went through Starbucks this morning. The woman goes, "Hey, Adam, you still waiting your 4 shots of espresso?" And I was like, "Wow, you're in a mood today." She's like, "It's Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. You can tell I'm happy." And I'm like, no, nothing gave me that indicator. Whereas I'm like, it's a small world after all, like Grinch, Whoville, all of the shit, the good things, the happy. Anyways, we're back to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I know since we've started our recaps, we've been bringing on Ashley, who has been absolutely incredible. She runs with her business partner, Amani, Taste of Reality. And the best part is just like me with you guys, is sometimes they have a difference of opinion. So I know that Ashley told you guys on Hot Messy Topics on Monday that she's at TwatsCon, whatever that is. I cannot wait to hear about it. I'm so excited. But it's not even, I don't want you guys to feel like you're not getting Ashley, because this is more of a treat. We've never heard from Amani. Now we have Amani. Amani's going to share with us her thoughts about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and her side of Taste of Reality. This is not an interview, Amani, so I don't want you to feel weird about it. But smash the like button, guys. Get subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and let's jump right in. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm so good. I'm going over and I'm looking at all the comments. That's so funny, and I know I have big shoes to fill with Ashley always being on.
You know what? Ashley just comes on, and I think why everyone loves her is she's just unapologetically like just herself and happy all the time. And she
is. She's the best.
Sometimes even like the most negative topics that we talk about, she goes, haha. And I'm like, I don't know if is that a nervous laugh? Is that like a Raquel laugh? Or is that like you're actually just happy to talk about this?
No, yeah. She provides a lot of levity to a lot of situations, whereas I'm usually like, and she's like, relax. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
That's the same. She said that you and I were very much similar in that way. Okay. And even with you saying that, like, I don't know, relax. I'm like the same way. And she also said that you and I agree on a lot of like the Bravo topics.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like this is just going to be really easy for us.
I mean, speaking of Salt Lake, like what Lisa Barlow said, I'm on play all the time. Quite literally, my anxiety is on play all the time. It does not pause.
I mean, okay, so since we're just like getting right into it, last night's episode, guys, with again, happy Halloween. 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. I want to know what you guys think. By the way, if I keep touching my eyes, I'm sorry. I need to get LASIK, you guys. I'm talking a lot today. I've had 4 shots of espresso. My contact fell out of my eye earlier, and Pippa literally grabbed it off the ground and ran off and ate it.
Oh.
Can't be great, but I just put a new contact in, and now it looks like I'm looking at you guys like Quasimodo, and I apologize.
You know what? It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Let's give ourselves grace.
Yeah, exactly. But for you, Amani, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest of last night's episode, where are you at?
I feel like I cannot give it 10. I feel like I can't give it 10 because there's a lot. You know what? 8. I'm going to give it 8.
8's a solid. That's a good episode.
Yeah, no, it was good. I just love Bronwin so much. Although, I don't know if this is on your agenda to talk about later. Also, guys, ignore my nails. I'm stressed about it. I plan to do them today. I can't with Bronwin's house. Like all the landmines on the floor. Okay,
so let's just get into that really quick. We can start there. Honestly, I would probably give it last night, you guys, a 7. I see a lot of 6, 7s, 8s inside the room. And that's the best part about this. We don't have to go in uniform. Most of the people watching, I'm sure you guys have seen it, and we can just discuss it. Bronwyn's house. It's like, for me, and Amani, I don't know how you feel. We both grew up in Florida, you guys. So in Florida, we have a lot more space to build out. A lot of I always lived in duplexes and apartments and small homes, but a lot of my friends had big, big houses.
Yeah.
And I used to always dream like one day a house like that. And seeing Bronwyn's, I'm like, well, it's an interesting style. It's this, it's all of the things. But then like the dog shit everywhere. I can't do that.
Nope. I can't. And it really pains me because I know she has like 12 dogs. And so I'm like,
8.
And I'm like, okay, I guess. So I've been told this is my serial killer trait. I am not an animal person. So I love children. I love babies. Like, give them to me, gimme. But like, I'm not an animal person. So like the fact that she has 8, I'm kind of like not really coming over for real. But the fact that there was shit everywhere and I'm like, Aunt Heather was eating. No. Like, I'm not eating anything on that charcuterie board. All your dogs probably was licking it when I was coming through the front door.
I thought about that. There's no way that I would have left. There's no way with all of those animals that you would trust a charcuterie board to be that low on a coffee table. And I know that sounds like people are going to be like, oh my God, you're reaching. That's not a reach. That's a fact, you guys. Like, dogs sniff that shit out. No pun intended.
100%. It's not a reach. And just because I don't love animals doesn't mean like every other person in America does not have like also 8 dogs in their home. So I'm around animals often. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, there's absolutely no way that not one of those dogs went and licked something, the cinnamon streusel cake or whatever Heather was eating. There's no way. And I'm not putting that in my mouth. I was so triggered by that scene. I was like, Bronwin never has to worry about me coming over her house. Like, at all. Like, I'm good.
Bronwyn's like watching right now and she's like, I didn't invite either one of you, so don't worry.
Well, let me say this though, Bronwyn, if you are watching this, you're one of my favorites on the entire franchise right now, like of Salt Lake. I think she's such a welcomed addition. I love her so much. I love her story. I could watch an entire episode with just like her, Gwen, and Todd. Like, I'm obsessed. I just can't do the house.
No, and that's fair. You know, like to be honest, and you guys might think that I'm crazy about this, but like when we moved in May to Charleston, you guys, we were living in Hilton Head at a place that we bought that was a fully operable Airbnb. So it was booked throughout the year. And when we had our dogs in the house, we made it a point to section them off and be really clean about it. And like, it needed to look like you were coming and staying at a brand new Airbnb, like hotel when you came, right? Mm-hmm. Or else people are going to leave bad reviews and then you never can book it out. And then what's the point?
Exactly.
So I went and got my mini Bernedoodle Pippa that I just showed you, my little tiny baby.
Yeah.
And the first day she went upstairs and the only floor that had carpet was the 3rd floor. She pissed on the 3rd floor. I freaked out because I'm so sensitive to the smell. Mm-hmm. And so Jason ended up going out of town and I paid for a flooring company to come in and take all the furniture out from the 3rd floor, rip all of the carpet up, put in new carpet. He didn't even know, like, I took Jason's mom with me and I was like, come on, let's just go like switch this shit out really quick. Yeah. And that's how much it bothers me. So to think about it, like being all over the place, like that would it would drive me insane. There's no way.
And also like, I don't know if she was raised this way, but like she didn't have a mom where like, if you have company over, you're cleaning for like 3 days before. That was like very much like the house I grew up in. Like everything needs to be spotless if you have company coming over. And the fact that there was like poop on the floor, I'm like, oh my gosh, that would not do.
I freak out because I have a friend here. Her name's Lori, which you guys are going to die. It was her birthday this week. And I'm the worst friend ever. I got her a pizza, a bottle of champagne, some pistachios, and some CBD. And we watched a serial killer thrasher. And I'm like, I'm not like your rich friends from Charleston. Cause she's like one of the moms at the country clubs. They do like big things. I'm like, no, I'm trash over here. This is what we're doing. But watching, even like having her come over, she said at some point we have to get comfortable with each other where I can come over with no makeup and like you don't feel like you have to clean your house spotless. I'll never be like that though.
Yeah.
And like watching Bronwin, knowing that you have a whole production crew coming over. Oh, there's no way. Like,
yeah, that's my thing too. I don't know if it's like tying in with her like shtick of being like quirky. So like if it is, I guess I could appreciate that. And anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. I'm, loving it for her. Her house seems fun though. I love like people that have like vibes, like I love people that have like individual style. So I can appreciate that. And you know what? Good for her.
I do have a question. I don't know if you picked up on this as far as like a red flag scenario. Are you like I don't know if you're married, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're dating. Oh God.
No, I'm just single.
Oh, okay. No, listen, don't be triggered by that. My God, enjoy that shit because the minute that you find the person, you're like, what was that like?
That's what people say.
Yeah. Just enjoy. Yeah. I've been with my husband for going on 11 years and like, I wouldn't even know what single is, but you know, like, that's why I'm like, when he goes out of town, I'm like, bye. I have the house. But for her last night talking to Todd when she was getting emotional and telling him the story, and he pretty much shut it down, and he's like, I'm done with this. I have nothing else to say about it. I'm done. It kind of, in some weird way, you guys, and I'm not comparing Todd to Tom Girardi, but it gave me that very clear dynamic of the age difference and like the does this make sense? Do I sound like I'm reaching?
No, I clocked that as well. And I said
Okay.
it on one of our discussion posts on our site. We have a discussion each night whenever there's like a show on. And I said, Todd kind of gives controlling, no? And then somebody was like, I think he's more or less just saying, like, I'm over it. Like, I don't like that side of the family. I'm good. I don't want to discuss this anymore. So I was like, okay, I can see that POV as well. But I clocked it as controlling immediately. And I was like, I'm not liking that.
Well, and there's a lot of times where people forget this, but just because you have an older person with a younger person, it doesn't necessarily mean it's because the older person feels like they can manipulate or control the younger person. But there are large amounts of like these relationships that if you clock them and you actually like pay attention and you're friends with people who have these massive age gaps, you can see elements of like, I'm smarter, I've been around longer, I know more than you do. I'm done like, we're done. Listen to me, shut your mouth. You don't know as much as I do.
Yes, I agree. I think there was a little bit of that also mixed in with like, we've like maybe belabored this point. I don't want to keep talking about it on TV, which then is just like, well, that's kind of like the whole point. So I don't know, but I did think that moment was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But otherwise, I really like the relationship. I think that she's a great mom. Obviously she's a great animal mother, like, cause she's not beating the hell out of her animals for shitting all over the house. So we will leave you alone, but
you alone. And also, do you watch Gilmore Girls or are you a fan of Gilmore Girls at all?
I've never seen them.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I don't know if it holds up now. Like whenever someone new in my life is like, oh, I want to watch Gilmore Girls, I'm like, okay, I love it. But I don't know if half of the reason why I love it is because of the nostalgia of it and like the sentiment around it. So I don't know if you could watch it today and it would hold up. But my point is they're very much Lorelai and Rory. And I love that. I love the like kind of like young mom, teen daughter dynamic. And I would like to see more. And I love the name Gwendaline. I would like to see more of her on the TV. I think they have a very interesting family.
Well, she does have a great name, little Gwendaline. But like something that I also noticed too, guys, I am so sorry if my contact messes up. I apologize. By the way, Chris R said, I miss Adam's guest name. Please invite her back again. This is Amani, everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
Amani is business partners with Ashley from Taste of Reality. She is the other half of Taste of Reality. So welcome, Amani. What I was going to say about this was I felt like I understood what Bronwin was doing in inviting Heather Gay over to have this conversation. But there were moments where she was like, I own this. So now you need to own your shit and you need to own your part. And that's kind of not like, it almost reminds you of somebody who like on Christmas, they're like, well, I gave you a present, but you didn't give me a present. And it's like, well, I didn't ask you to give me a present. And Heather Gay wants this to clearly continue as a feud. She's like, oh, okay, so now because you said you're sorry for whatever, now all of a sudden you want me to be accountable for the things that you think I did wrong, but not for things that I think I did wrong. And I looked and I'm like, Bronwin, I feel like I know what you're doing. I think that you're coming in a little aggressive at the end of the approach, but also Heather Gay is living for this because you gave her a storyline and she's not caving for you. She's going to turn this into a moment. She's going to be like, I can't, I got to leave. And that's exactly what she did.
I agree. Oh gosh. I used to love Heather so much. And this season, I'm just like, I'm not feeling Heather at all. And I think Bronwin did kind of clock her though, when she was like, you are trying to control, because like she had the viral like receipts, screenshot, proof, timeline. Like everybody, yes, Heather, like you did that. You cleared Monica, which, okay, she did. Last season was iconic. But I think she's like riding that high horse now into this season. And I don't know. I agree with her. Like you're not the queen bee, but also Bronwin, you kind of need to pay homage to like the people that came before you, and you can't come in so hot. Like I agree with both sides. Totally.
Yeah, but then, like there's a lot of things that I'm starting to clock about Heather Gay that I'm not loving. And I saw Meredith Marks last night, since we're just like going through. we're going to go based off of cast members and not like the chronological order of the series of unfortunate events that was last night's episode, you guys. So last night seeing Heather, I feel like she had at first started off so authentically herself where she's like meat on a stick and this, and now she's kind of developed an idea in her mind, almost like a producer's cap, of what works for TV and what doesn't. And I feel like I can see when she is trying to make a good TV moment, and I don't like that.
I agree. That's the downfall of Housewives right now. And I think that's a lot of people's, not to bring Roni into it. I am in that minority and I really enjoy the reboot of Roni, but I think it's so contrived and so calculated at this point. And I think that's off because of how viral the receipts proof timeline thing happened. Like it hit mainstream TV, not just like in the Bravo niche world. Like, so I think she's trying to create another moment like that. And the reason why that was so good was because it was, I mean, maybe not super organic, because when they all met up on the beach, it kind of did seem like, you know, they were playing a part in a way, but like it happened organically a little bit. And so I think that's kind of the issue lately, especially with Vanderpump Rules. Like everyone's trying to like compete with themselves, and it's like, just be yourself. That's what made it so good. You cannot like compete with yourself in the past. I don't know.
Well, and then I think that there's this try hard to like kind of compete with. It's like what you're saying. These are organic moments that are landing and that they're living inside of like the Bravoverse with longevity and merch and all of that. It was like when Lala Kent was pissed off and she was like, no, send it to Daryl. And it was like, she was just mad. Boom.
Exactly.
So like $300, $400, $500,000 worth of merch off of send it to Daryl. So it's the same thing when you go in and you're thinking like, oh God, I got to come up with a big moment. You guys, it doesn't necessarily land the same. And however,
they can see through. I'm sorry. I'm just saying the fans could see through it, which is why it's not landing. Like we want organic. We don't want contrived storylines. Obviously that's reality TV. Like it's contrived storylines, but like, we don't want to know it's contrived storylines. Let us be ignorant and bliss.
Yeah. I 1,000,000% agree with that. Yes. And then, you know, like Heather Gay yesterday inviting, Brittany Bateman over to Beauty Lab and Laser. This was one of the moments where like watching her, I was like, okay, when she's looking at her and she's like, I'm telling you, you're gonna look crazy. You know, like you're going to look off. And Brittany's like, when she started crying and you see the guy, the receptionist in the back, and she started crying and saying how she was triggered by certain things. And I'm just like, Brittany Bateman, you are a hot ass mess.
I just want to be like, Brittany, stand up.
Yeah.
Like, stand up.
Like when you say stand up, what do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I'm really struggling because I'm trying not to judge her. LOL.
So am I.
Like, I'm trying not to, but like, I don't want to. Okay. So I'm not trying to be torn apart. But she's like giving weak, and like that's hard for me because I would take the Lisa Barlow approach in that situation. Like when Jared came to the party, when Lisa, she's like, no, this is weird, you're here. Why are you here? This is weird. You need to talk to her. Like that's very me. Like in that situation, I'm like, absolutely not. We're gonna like handle this right now. Like stand up, figure it out, do it, be strong. LOL, Bethany Frankel, and handle it. Like that's so annoying to me. I just want to be like, stand up, handle it. You
know, it's so weird because there was I was such a jealous little prick. Like when I met my husband, and I was 20 years old. Now I'm 31, but I remember it was our 1-year anniversary, and I also had just turned 21 or no 22 at the whatever, one of them, I don't know. And we ended up going out to dinner in New York, and I heard about his ex multiple times, and his ex was now dating like some 70-year-old Broadway attorney who like knew everybody. So the guy was like a total come up person. And Jason ended up walking away to go to the bathroom that night. And all of a sudden I have this guy come over who starts hitting on me. And I'm like, why do I recognize it was Jason's ex of multiple years? And I'm the type who's like, can you like, and Jason told me I have to censor myself, but can you get the fuck away? Get away. I don't like you. I'm not team you. I don't care if whatever I say, if it offends you, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not going to come out and just try to be vicious. That is not me, but I am going to say what I'm thinking.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
Cancer.
Okay, I'm a Taurus. So I don't know if that has something to do with being so like strong-headed, but I don't know. Like I'm very like protective of my friends. Like I feel like girls that say they're girls are not, but I feel like I'm just very team my friend. And so like, I don't know, I would have been Lisa Barlow in that moment. I'm not saying it's the right position to take and maybe I should be more passive, but I don't know. I just want to encourage Britney. And I'm like, you're beautiful. You have pipes. Good for you for singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, you're a catch. Like you don't need to be with Jared. I don't think he's cute. I'm sorry. He's not.
I thought Aaron was great looking. And two other things I want to add to this too is like, wait, is Taurus for her? Oh, what I was gonna say is the fact that one, I'm not even a huge Angie Katzenabas fan, but with your ass drinking all the wine this entire time, I know you are not over here like trying to throw some shade at her for showing up with the wine. Exactly. Like she was not going to throw it back at you.
She's drinking that wine in every scene like it's water. So like I appreciate the petty moment that Angie had. You don't like Angie though? I enjoy her.
I'm liking her more and more. She blocked me on Instagram, which I said I feel like I need to, but it's not because of that I dislike anybody. I just I thought that her first season I thought she was boring and she was like very much so a Jen Shaw puppet. She was like attached to Jen's hip. And then her second season I thought she came out a little bit more into her own. And actually this season I am enjoying her. So we'll see. But what?
Sean is really cute. Her husband.
Sean is they're a great looking couple. Like even their daughter, like they're a beautiful family, 1,000,000%. But you know, like Angie is good with her little reads, and for Britney, it's like Britney, like really, Angie, you don't know, and Angie's like, sorry, bitch, you're drunk all the time. Like, what do you want me to?
Ray Charles, see that? Sorry.
Yeah, she's like, why do I feel like you're in? I have a friend who, and if she's watching this, I'm gonna get in trouble. But I have a friend who. One of her parents sits there in the morning, like we went on a trip and she was trying to hide that she was drinking as much as she was. And this was a much older person. Okay. And she would sit there in the morning and it was really cold outside and we were in the mountains and she was like,
oh my God.
And she's like, oh my God, the mountains, the birds. This is so beautiful. It's delicious. It's just all.
Oh my God.
Ends up getting and walking away, going to the bathroom with the buzz, not realizing that she left her coffee cup. And I was like, the person came out and said, what kind of coffee do you want? And I said, I don't know. I said, what are the options? They're like, there's like 10. And I said, probably what she's having. Hold on. And I smelled it and I was like,
never mind.
That is pure tequila at 6 a.m. And that's what I picture Britney. I'm like, shut up with your red wine in the back while you're doing your hymns.
You know what? Also, I'm Britney because she hosted that whole party simply so that she could show everybody she could sing. I really, truly think that's why she did it. I'm like, respect. Because if I could sing, let's come to my home. We're going to like have a good night and I'm going to sing and then we're going to eat.
It kind of reminds me, I saw a meme the other day of this guy. It was like these two gay guys that were roommates, and the guy had like this fake wig on. He kept on like doing the wig, and he's like, it was like the friend who always wants to show you that they can sing, and it's like, oh well, you don't do dishes. Well, I just always sing a note like like and just like doing the notes. And, yeah, like every opportunity to be complimented on singing. Yep.
No, 100%. Like sometimes, like I can't sing, by the way, but like I can hold a tune, I guess, on certain songs, and so like I'll just like sing, and they'll be like, Imani, you have such a good voice. And I'm like, shut up.
Oh, see, we have a no singing rule in my house. I'm not even allowed to sing in the shower.
Oh my, so I don't sing in the shower because I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like someone's going to come and hear me and then I just die.
No, I'm just not allowed. That's but
funny.
Speaking of, well, not singing, but let's talk about the husbands because I did have a question out of this. Whose side were you on?
Okay. You know, I love me some John Barlow. I'm going to have to say John Barlow. Purely because that's where my allegiance lies and I'm loyal.
So I mean, at first, you know what's funny is I talked to Monica about this, and Monica said to me, she was like, I just thought it was. I'm going to be careful because I'm going to get a text message.
Okay.
Monica said to me that she was very shocked at how the husbands reacted because somebody sent her a clip of it. And she is adamant that she still hasn't watched the show. Trust me, I just saw her, you guys, in Salt Lake on Saturday. She's not watching the show. That's part of the reason, like, we're not doing Salty podcast right now, because I wanted her to watch the show. She will not watch the show. And I get the show is triggering for her. So she's not watching it. But she is getting all of the clips that you guys are tagging her in, and or anybody else who's tagging her who's not in this live chat. Point is she asked me, did I see the scene where the husbands were fighting, and what were my thoughts? And she said, you know, I was kind of surprised to see Lisa's husband, I believe this is what she said, see Lisa's husband like a little bit more like forward in that. But then once they did the replay, when John Barlow pointed out the fact that Justin took a step toward his wife, guys, I was just in something very, very, very similar. And I'm not going to go backwards, but it was a year and a half ago. I was at an event. I was sitting there arguing with somebody. I had my husband who was right there. I stepped in between. There was a step take. It was like, and it triggered me like a mother. Like, I was like, great, I have 2 months before I get my veneers. So if you're going to hit me in the face, then just do it with everything you have. And I promise you, I'm dragging you out of this fucking place. Yeah. Like, everything. I'm like, I have 2 months left. And then after that, I'm going to be like Polly Pocket and like, oh my God, let's settle everything with like happiness and our feelings. And, you know, so watching that, I fully get what that is. And you kind of want a spouse like that. You don't want like this aggressive spouse, but I don't think John Barlow is an aggressive human. But the fact that he can stand up for his wife, I was about for both of them. They both stood up for their wives.
I don't think any of the husbands handled the situation wrong at all.
Okay.
They both defended their wives, which I think you should do. Did you watch the Salt Lake after show? I watched a couple clips. But Mary was pretty much like, no one knows who's in the right. Nobody knows who's in the wrong. Both of them need to tell their wife. Both of them know who they're married to. And they need to be like, listen, stop, not here. You know, you're part of it. Like, leave it be. And I agree with that. I don't think Whitney's innocent. I don't think Lisa's innocent. I did see him step toward Lisa, but Lisa was the aggressor in that situation. I think she was just talking. You cuss on your page, right? Shit.
Yeah, you could say okay. You can say anything.
Okay. So like, I think Lisa was just antagonizing the situation and antagonizing Whitney. I don't think obviously Justin would ever put his hands on Lisa. Like, I didn't get that vibe from that at all, but he did step to her and he was cussing at her, which to me was aggressive, but Lisa kind of started the aggression. So yeah. I don't think Justin played it wrong at all. And I don't think John played it wrong at all either. I think Lisa and Whitney were wrong. And I think their husbands were just put in a situation to like defend their partners. And so I'm not mad at either party in that regard.
You know, honestly, I think that Justin and John both seem like great guys. And the fact is I think that both of them in their minds were defending their wives. Mm-hmm. And I get what you're saying with what Mary said. I did see that clip. I didn't see the after show, but I did see that specific clip. And I agree with Mary. It's like which this is the pot calling the kettle black over here, you guys, because it's like, it kind of seems like I'm the one who's stirring all of this shit up, but I'm not. And you guys will see it's not me. But I do agree with Mary. It's like, until you guys really know what's going on.
Exactly.
She said, and you guys don't know everything yet. But for the husbands defending their wives, like, listen, you know, like if there was one time I was living in New York with Jason and there was this server guy who came up screaming at me and he threatened to beat me up in front of the espresso machine. And Jason stood right in front of him and like face palmed the shit out of him and was like, get out of it. And I was like, yeah. Look at that.
Actually, yes. No, I get it. I don't know. I will say, not to be Kelly Dodd, Shane from OC. Justin was kind of giving like little bitch energy when he was dumping out the tequila in the sink. I'm like, okay, like that's weird. Like you're an adult man. Like that's weird.
Well, and I'm gonna get so much shit at this point. Honestly, Whitney, I'm sorry. You're probably gonna try to bury my ass anyways, which don't forget all the text messages and all the shit
It's proof timeline screenshots.
and screenshots.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna say about that is it did seem like that entire scene, the difference between Lisa and John's scene and Justin and Whitney's scene was Lisa and John's seemed like they were having a conversation and it was more of like, a what?
I said clock it.
Yeah. It seemed like they were having a conversation where they were like, you know, just being honest about what the series of events were that night. And in order for us to move past, then obviously we need to have a conversation. And I didn't say that. And how do we move? Like, how did this even happen? And he was even being playful with his wife. And he's like, my wife and her big ass mouth. Or he didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then
he knows who he's married to.
He knows who he's married to. And then you pan over to them and it's, you know, Justin dumping out the shit and like pouring out the stuff and whatever. And then you see Whitney's face and she's like, babe.
Like shook, like, oh my gosh, you cannot do this, Justin. Like you told him to do it.
This, like, babe, this is too much right now.
I know. Bravo. Are you
Did you get that on camera?
Are you seeing how shocked I am that Justin's dumping out the Vita tequila?
Babe, this is, can you imagine he starts pouring it out and she's like, production A is here, not production B. We need both, you motherfucker. Can you just like fill that up with water? You already dumped it, you idiot. Fill it up with water right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Fill the but and I'm not trying to be an asshole to Whitney. It did come off. One conversation came off a lot less performative than the other one. And the reactions just seemed like, what?
That gave very performative. That's the perfect word. It was very performative. And I feel like, not me saying Phil, oh my gosh, they're rubbing off on me. I feel like Whitney told him to do that and then her be like shocked by it. No, it was very, that word is perfect. It was very performative. And the scenes just were, I don't know. I like Lisa and John. I do. And I don't dislike Whitney. But she also kind of annoys me sometimes in the way that like Britney does, where I just kind of want to be like, okay. Like, I don't know, I just get annoyed.
Well, I hope that you can heal so you can stop to heal.
I need to heal.
Yeah, you have to heal. Okay, so on top of that, as we move forward, like throughout the rest of the episode, you see where Lisa Barlow clearly has an issue with Angie Katzenavas and the things that were said about her and her parenting. Do you think, who do you think is more in the wrong on this one?
I don't know if it's because I have LB blinders. I don't think that Lisa was shading her parenting toward Elektra at all when she made that comment. I think she was basically like, you use your daughter as a crutch to get out of situations, is how I perceived it. Not necessarily like anything wrong with her parenting, you know? It's like back in high school when you were like, oh, let me ask my mom. But you know, in your mind, like, I'm not asking my mom. I just don't want to do it. I felt like it was, she was kind of alluding to that. I think Angie was coming for Lisa's parenting in the sense of like, you let your child play games 24/7. At least
give them an iPad and they go away.
Yeah. So like, I think Angie elevated it. And I think she was so wrong for that. Personally, I think she was wrong for that.
Angie's was a lot more specific.
Correct.
To things that like where Lisa's like, oh, the iPad. And like, you know, like Henry, like, oh yeah, when we go to Wendy's, I do give him an iPad and he does sit there. You know what I mean? Like that could be a little bit more triggering. But I also see, you know, like it is a lot more vague and broad what Lisa Barlow said about Angie Katzenavas. And I don't think it's specific. I think it's more like if you don't want to do something, then you have an easy out. Like, correct. And this is not new, by the way, you guys. This is something that we have seen on multiple franchises. I can literally give you one from every single season. Vicky Gumbelson, she would have to go work the next day. Lisa Barlow, she was so busy because she had work. Alexia Echevarria, if she didn't want to deal with something, she had Frankie, which her son, after his unfortunate accident, you know, like she would need to go be there for him. There are housewives on every single franchise that have things.
Yeah, I'm rewatching Roni right now. Love it. I'm on the Tinsley seasons, and Bethany would use Bryn for everything. I have Bryn. I can't do it. So like, that situation might be a little bit different because like she didn't have Bryn all the time. But anyways, I feel like she's using her daughter, is what Lisa was saying, and then he was literally attacking. Well, at least my daughter's not like on games 24/7, and also like. Henry's clearly going through something. You can tell he doesn't maybe have a lot of friends. And that broke my heart, by the way, in last night's episode when she was saying that, like, nobody essentially came to Henry's birthday. And, like, he was super close with his older brother, and all of his oldest brother's friends were his friends. Like, that literally broke my heart. And so, and I'm, like, I think I just relate to it because I'm such a TV person. And, like, there's been periods in my life in adolescence where, like, TV shows were like the only thing that I had. And like, that was like a constant and a comfort for me. And I'm not saying that's Henry's situation, but like sometimes you are in low periods of your life and you just need an escape. And if him playing PS5 or whatever is his escape right now during a tough time, let the boy play his games. Like at least he's in the house, he's safe. I don't know. I think Angie was just wrong for that.
Yeah. And also somebody just said in here, raising boys and girls are very different.
Correct.
And I know that my sisters versus like me and my brothers, it was a different monster on both sides, but I do agree too. And I feel bad for Henry. And it's the same thing. Like I was the younger brother and I attached myself to my brothers and their friends, and they were the jocks and they were the ones who had like the entire baseball team. My parents always say this too, by the way, we don't feel like you were gay until you went to LA. I'm like, I was 8 years old and my brothers would bring home the baseball team. I knew when Drew brought home Kenny, I knew, bitch, that I was 8. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
But but then they end up growing up, they go to college, they get out of the house, and then you're like, am I supposed to hang out with the people my age now? Like last year I was cool. What happened? Like now I don't have any friends.
Exactly. No. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think anytime you even say a person's child's name, it like causes people to get defensive. So I think just her mentioning Electra was like, "Ow, absolutely not." And I think Angie probably also knows the gaming of it all might be like a trigger for Lisa. I feel. I don't know.
Clearly, she knows that.
Exactly. So I think that's why she said it.
Yeah, and I bet you it was something so innocent. It's like if Jason and I sometimes will mess with each other, and I'll tell him like, oh my God, like I feel like I've gained like 5 pounds since we've been traveling and all of this other stuff. And I am so hungry. Jason, pay attention to me. You're being such a bitch. Oh yeah, because you're so hungry and you need something else to complain about, like add another pound. And you're like, oh, I gave that to you out of confidence, and now you're weaponizing that against me. Right. And that's what I feel like Angie Katzenavas did to Lisa Barlow in this moment. It's like, you shady bitch.
Exactly.
You weaponize this, and that's not cool.
Correct. Weaponize. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
I trusted you. By the way, was Mely Workman in this episode?
No. I know. I was listening to you and Ashley talk about her. She's absolutely stunning. I don't get it. Like, who is she? Who is she?
So I'm curious to see, are you a Southern Charm fan?
No, I watched a few seasons, but I haven't watched in so long.
Okay, so there's a new guy. I mean, I haven't really watched either. I do have friends who live here by me who are on the show, and I don't really know, like, I know like the general like outline, and I don't know everything. You know what I mean? It's just not my show.
Yeah.
It's not the show that right. Yeah. And, like there's a guy this year who I think is coming on, and he had promo shots. He was a part of like the cast photo, all of the things. And then he was completely left out of the trailer. And now I'm hearing that I don't know if he's going to be a big part of the show, if he's going to be demoted.
Interesting.
What's going to happen? And I'm like, isn't this something you decide before like the promo shots and all of that? Like for Mely Workman, Mely is no different than any of the other friends that's on the, like, she just looks like, she doesn't even feel like if you did not give her a promo shot or classify her as a friend, we wouldn't have known the difference.
Exactly. I'm curious if like there was something that happened behind the scenes that like made them like pull back her scenes. I don't know, because like going back to the rebooted Roni, people were saying that Rebecca Minkoff was meant to be like more like an actual housewife, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm getting someone mixed up. But long story short, they ended up re-editing it. So I'm curious if something happened behind the scenes that they cut out Mely's like more of the getting to know her scenes. I'm not sure, but she just seems misplaced. Or like it just doesn't make sense.
I heard that Mely lives a little bit further away than some of the other housewives in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And that with production, they would give, because normally they give call times at the beginning of the week, and it's call times for everybody. And this is what we're doing. This is when we're filming. This is when you need to be ready.
Okay.
And those are always subject to change. But with her and having however many kids that she has with a fully working husband and no real help at home, it was really hard for her to just like kind of pick up and go film.
That's
and
fair.
I think that hindered a lot of her being included.
Who is she a friend of though? Is it Whitney?
Well, they brought her on as Whitney,
Okay.
Whitney's friend, but she wasn't a friend to anyone. She just cast for the show.
Got it. Okay. Well,
yeah, just like Britney was not Heather's real friend before.
okay.
She was cast for the show, and it was easy to say, "Oh, look at this photo of us together 3 years ago. Wow, we are such good friends.
We're thick as thieves."
Yeah, thick it. Thieves is a very interesting word for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but yes.
Very interesting word.
Thick as thieves. But at the end of the day, you guys, Bronwin is putting together a trip. I forgot what it's called, what the location is. It's called, I've never heard of it, you guys.
Something, is it Saddle or Satellite or like something to that effect? I don't know. I haven't heard
of Palm Springs. But I'm not mad at it. And what I'm not mad about Bronwin, and it's exactly what Amani said too, aside from like the shit all over the house, that's like not my favorite. Yeah. But she definitely is not afraid of conflict resolution and keeping the story moving.
Yes, she is so good at that.
And including the husbands.
So what is your take on that? Because I saw some discourse that like, why are they starting to show the husbands a lot more? Like even the Justin and John scene. First of all, I was shook when it was John trying to parallel park the car. I literally was expecting one of the women, that's internalized misogyny on my part, but I was expecting one of the women to jump out, but it was John. I was like, shut up. That's kind of an ick that you can't parallel park. But like they are showing, no, I can't either, by the way. I can't parallel park. I live in Florida. There's like no parallel, at least where I live, there's no parallel parking really. But I was just expecting one of the girls to jump out. But why are they showing the husband so much more now? Like they are.
I don't know. I think that, listen, people, we have a divided Bravo verse of people who, I feel like one thing is that I don't think that the Bravo fans actually know what they want. And guys, do not attack me for this. So many people were like, screw Lisa Rinna. Get her off the screens. This is a messy bitch. She is wild. She is splitting up sisters. We hate her. Get her off. Liar, lie, all of the things. BravoCon, boo. Get off the stage. It was so aggressive. Then, cue to the new season. No Lisa Rinna. And people were like, it was like crickets. Like,
exactly.
What are we watching?
I go on that rant at least once every 6 months, where just because you do not like a housewife does not mean they need to be exiled from the show. Because sometimes we love to hate them. I wasn't a huge Lisa Rinna person. By the way, we're blocked by her on our Instagram.
Oh my God.
I can't even. Yeah, like she did that thing where she like blocked every account associated. So like I can't even go on like my personal Instagram and look at her stuff because I'm blocked on Taste of Reality. So I'm like, that's aggressive. But yeah, we're blocked, and I don't know. I'm
not blocked yet. Thank God.
I love that for you. We're also blocked by Jax.
I'm blocked by Jax.
Par for the course. We're blocked by Brittany Cartwright, and that sends me because like we post so many good things about Brittany. So Brittany, if you're listening to this, unblock us. Because we're Team Brit on our page. I forget where I was going with that. Totally lost my train of thought. Oh, but like I can't stand when people call for housewives to be fired just because you don't
Yeah.
like them. Because like, for example, Tamara, like we have a complicated Tamara follows us, like we're cool with Tamara, but like she's horrible this season. But like I'm not necessarily saying she needs to be let go next season. Like I hate her.
I had a conversation with Tamara, and her and I like this. And I was out with the Real Housewives of Dubai. This was in Vegas, you guys. And they told me, they said, okay, we're going to dinner. Are you already dressed for dinner? And I said, yes, I'm dressed for dinner. And they said, okay, we're going to this party first. And I said, okay, what party? They said, it's Tamara and Teddy's party. And I was like, fuck me. Okay. So then instead of just showing up to the party, because I was the only person who was not Bravo contracted talent at this party, I said, let me reach out. So I reached out to Tamara, messaged her on Instagram because it was 2 hours until this party. And I said, hey, I just want to reach out to you. I know it's your party. I don't want to just show up. I can hang out in the lobby and do whatever else and not, it's fine. I get it. And she was like, no, just come up. And I said, okay. And then I ended up meeting her. She was like, Tamara, have you met Adam? Tamara ran for the hill, or Teddy. Teddy ran for the hills. Teddy did not want to talk to me, but Teddy talked a lot of shit. I talked a lot of shit. We both talked shit. And I thought that we could have had a conversation. Yeah. Neither here nor there. But at the end of it, what the fuck was my point about this?
See? Like you lose your train of thought.
You lose your train of thought. What did you just say before this?
That I didn't hate Tamara. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. All I was going to say was, I say sometimes where, Tamara the other day went on and she's like, social media laws need to change. And this is mean. And I'm like, Tamara, you're also really fucking mean. But then when I see Vicky Gumbelson and Gretchen Rossi and everybody and Jim Bellino and whoever else encouraging a lawsuit against her and to take away a lot of like the hard work with Venus CBD and these other companies and like her home, I'm like, no, you guys, that's mean.
That's mean.
I can play both sides of it looking like, yes, you come off like an asshole and you're being kind of an asshole, but also them doing that to you, that's not okay. So
I'm with you there. There's conflicted feelings because my thing is like, you are the worst right now on your season. People are going to have an opinion about it. And I agree. Social media is just, oh my God. Like, I have very strong feelings about this, but it really sends me into oblivion because, like, for example, like going back to Vanderpump Rules, like obviously we were so team Ariana, like we rode for Ariana on our page, and like Tom Sandoval was wrong, this, that, and the third, but people did take it extremely far. And so I'm just like, guys, like this is getting to a point where like if somebody did trigger warning, possibly like hurt themselves or harm themselves, like I can understand that because like every single time you log onto your phone, like you guys are taking it too far. And so I just think some Bravo fans take it way too far. It's like, it's fun to be shady and snarky. Trust like our entire website. Like we encourage people to like post their opinions and be fun and throw shade. Like that's fun. That's what makes the Bravo universe so fun is everybody joins in on the conversation. But like, at what point do we like need to check ourselves? And it's like strangers can say whatever the fuck they want to say to anybody online, but it's like the second you respond to it, you're the devil. I don't know. I just think Bravo fans don't know what they want. They do not know what they want.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. I think that a lot of times, I think that we know, and I think that we want to be a part of the conversation, and that we want to be so mad with everybody and let's implement change. And then like, It's like, we don't know what we're asking for. And listen, a lot of you guys in the live chat too might be like, I know what I want, so don't speak for me.
Sure.
Then this doesn't apply to you. And that is totally okay. But there are a lot of times where we think we know as producers what great TV would be. We think we know, get this bitch off the show, get her cheating, lying husband off the show, keep this guy, leave him for him. We think we know everything. But sometimes it's fun to just like watch and wonder what's going to happen and then be like, you know what? You should have listened to me.
Exactly. And also just like watch it. I don't know, or don't. But I think part of the fun is things being messy. Like, do we want it to be completely copacetic 24/7? No, like you need that person in the group to cause dissension. Like you need that, or you're going to get a season like on Beverly Hills. Like people are like, this is boring. Well, because there's no one in there causing confusion. Lisa Rinna is gone. So what do you like? What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah. No, and especially like even going back to Salt Lake City, I'm curious to see how the rest of Salt Lake City plays out this season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you.
I am and I'm not, because like I watch and then I'm like, God, like my phone. I kind of feel like, and it's not, it almost makes me make myself like sound like I feel like I'm more important than I am. I'm like, oh shit. Salt Lake City, my phone is going to blow up tonight. Last night, one person messaged me about it. Not one, you guys. So, but in my head, I'm like, this is the storyline. This is what's happening. I'm about to, like, I just think I'm like, what is going to, so I'm ready for this to be over. I thought, oh, okay. Whitney asked me to do a favor. It would be fun to be a part of this. Yay. I'm so happy I was never cast on a reality show. I'm very grateful.
That's what I wanted to ask you. And I'm like, it must be so neat. I mean, granted, I don't want to say like it backfired necessarily, but like, is that not so cool to hear your voice on Bravo? Like, I can't even imagine just like watching the show and then like seeing my name pop up or my voice pop up. That must be so cool. So how was that for you? I know they like Franken-edited it, to borrow Ashley's term, but like, is that really neat to just like hear that on the show?
No.
Oh.
No, listen, like in the last 4 years of starting the YouTube channel and everything and doing like, like Andy and I had a conversation over the fact that I took the Jen Shah interview. That was NBC's interview before she went to prison. There were moments where I was like getting myself in trouble and getting myself out of it. Then I would get myself in trouble and then I would get myself out of it. And for this situation, it was very clear to the point what the purpose of that phone call was going to be. And it is very disappointing how the phone call came out. And thank God. And like what I told Ashley, the best part about it is that Jason and I are sitting on all of the receipts for all of this, or else this would be devastating. I could see where this is devastating to people. So for right now, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, this is really cool to see. It feels more like I just want to get through to the end of the season to know what I need to share.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to share it ahead of time and ruin the storylines for anybody. And I don't want to be that person also to be like, I'm so bitter, because I'm not. I understand it is a TV show. We're talking about your jewelry that may or may not be turning people's ring fingers green or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's not the end of the world. We're not curing cancer. But no, this is not an enjoyable moment right now. No.
Sure. Yeah. Has Bravo, like, I don't know if you can say, have they like reached out to you since and been like, hey, like, can we involve you more like in the post editing or any sort of like online interactions that have they reached out to you about?
No. So they have, just to be very frank, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. They have had cast members who have told me if I would like to speak to higher ups to get my part of this story out there, mm-hmm. then the higher ups would love to listen, and then that could potentially affect the edit. But where I'm sitting between the rock and the hard place is, like I spoke to multiple members of the cast, and when this was all coming out, Whitney was telling me while I was trying to help her find out who was the person who shared the Alibaba stuff and who was the person who was running this account that was attacking Bobby.
Yeah.
Whitney was she kept it very straightforward with me. She was very sweet about everything. And I didn't feel like there was a reason to go against her. And she kept on telling me, she's like, I don't know what they're telling you, Adam. I didn't say anything bad about you on camera. I didn't. Then pan over to the other cast members who were telling me about what was being filmed, and producers and people who were part of production who were telling me what were being filmed. And they're like, Whitney is trying to bury you. I don't know why she is lying to you. So now I'm sitting on like the holy grail over here of information. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to prematurely give this information up because I don't know who to believe. I don't know if Whitney's lying or if they're lying, because they both have two totally different stories and not both can be true at the same time.
Agreed. But like, in a way, you kind of are the drama this season. Like in a roundabout way, like you.
Oh, no, I want my fucking IMDb Heather Dubrow producer's credit.
No, literally, you need an IMDb credit for this. Because you are like, you're moving the storyline by, and like, I know Bravo's really into like breaking the fourth wall right now, but I think like the social media aspect of this is really interesting. And I think it'd be intriguing for a lot of people. So I'm sorry if I don't know what's happening outside my window. So I'm sorry if you hear.
Oh my God, I thought that was my window.
No, it's me. I'm so sorry.
I'm in a construction zone, so I just I hear the beep beep.
Yeah.
I thought it was me.
Oh my gosh, it's my hatch machine. We're gonna go with that. But no, but I think like the social media aspect and like the Bravo bloggers of it all, like it's a very interesting, not saying you're a Bravo blogger, but just like that's such an interesting component to Bravo and to Housewives. So I think it could kind of be interesting if they did circle back to you. Like I think that would be very interesting, and I would want to see it as a viewer. I don't know if any of your Adams family would agree, but I think that'd be so interesting to circle back on.
No, I think that they would definitely agree with that. You know, like, and I had people ask me this morning at the gym, these two girls that are really, really sweet, and they're like, we want to let you know we heard you on Salt Lake City. And I was like, I come in like all cockeyed, looking like Quasimodo, like, good morning, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really nice. But when I think about it, and like, what could I potentially say and what could I be a part of as far as like the conversation leading on? It's like, I don't really know what more there is for us or me to give to this conversation about the Real Housewives of like people think that I should go be a part of the reunion and sit in front of Whitney and say, and I could easily sit in front of Whitney. I could sit in front of all of them and be like,
exactly.
let's talk about it. This is what was said. They're never going to let me do that. Other people there was a manager of multiple other YouTubers and podcasters who reached out to me and said that they represent a lot of them and said, hey, would you sign with me if I got you on as a guest, like a bartender on Watch What Happens Live? And I was like,
that would be awesome. That would be really actually neat. I'm loving this. I'm manifesting this.
But I'm not signing a manager for that. Like to be a 30-second bartender. No, that's not happening.
That's kind of iconic now that I'm thinking about it. Putting this into the universe. I'm not saying you need a manager for that, but like to have you as the bartender on Watch What Happens Live actually would be kismet. Like that needs to happen.
They should put me on when Whitney's on.
That's what I'm thinking. Like you need to be on with Whitney and you need to be the bartender. I think
would die.
And imagine she didn't know. Gagged.
Oh my God. She would freak out. It would be legitimately, it would be like,
no, that's actually Bravo.
But you know, the only other thing that I think that is wild about this is like, you know, and this isn't like this is not a bragging, you guys, or like saying whatever. The thing is before I started this channel, after working for Lisa Vanderpump for so long, you know, the position that my husband and I were in, we were taking care of like all of her best guests and the people, and we were making friends with them. And that was a lot of the Housewives, you know? Mm-hmm. So we formed our own relationships way before YouTube, and it just bled into other relationships because we were in other events with these people. So now we're friends with the majority of like the Bravo talent. And now I'm seeing where there's a lot of content creators who come on and they're like, well, Adam doesn't have a leg to stand on because he's friends with these people. It's like, no, then you don't know what you're talking about, because the difference between me and you at this point is that I have a different perspective. Not me and you, but me and the person who's saying this is like, I have a different perspective, you know, and like I know them personally to know like either, yes, guys, this is absolutely how this person is, or there's no fucking way that this is true. And you just have to trust me on it. And
I mean, it's the best of both worlds, because you do have the foresight to know like their personalities and whether or not they were doing something. And also you're a consumer of it. So I think that's like a very interesting perspective. And I think that's why people probably love you so much, because like you do have like inside tea, but also you're a consumer. So like, and you're watching it. So it's like, I'm also watching the show. So I think it's a really interesting perspective, and not one a lot of people have.
You know what the only shitty part about it now is, before is like when I would get invited to Bravo events and things, and like with friends or like and people who were on the shows, whatever, it was totally normal and I was just excited to be there. And now I get looked at like, I swear to God, and I even get called out every time in LA, like I'm in LA and it's like a Vanderpump Rules or Beverly Hills thing. I get called out like, you're not putting any of this on your channel. I'm looked at like a rat with a wire.
Okay.
I'm like walking around and they're like, you're not recording anything.
Okay.
Like you're not, no audio, no,
Yeah.
seriously, don't do it. And I'm like, I have a fucking champagne. I'm not doing shit.
Exactly. I guess that could kind of be a mind F for some of them too. When you are such like a personality and you're friends with them, it's like, okay, well, I'm telling you this, but like, don't put this online, you know? So I guess I could get that perspective as well.
Yeah, but I'm not the rat. Like I've never been a rat. I'm like Teresa. I'm like, I believe in the movie The Godfather.
Yeah. And also when you and Ashley were talking about sources with Dana not giving it up, respect. Obviously, like Ashley and I joke all the time that we're a blog, like we're not CNN or anything hard hitting, but like I did go to school for journalism. So like, and I am 100% like, if somebody gives you a source, you're not giving up your source. Like I respect that. And I think that's really important. And so to your point, like you're not a rat, like you could still like enjoy and like not give out information because you have integrity.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is you know what I learned at the very beginning to where I'm at now, as far as like the how many years I've been doing YouTube, not anywhere of like, guys, how far we've come. Yeah. I mean, it's just the years behind it, 4 years going into 5 years. I feel like what's wild to me is before at the very beginning, when people would say, well, who told you? I felt like I was backed in a corner and I'd be like, please do not say anything. Like I know that I have to tell you, blah, blah, blah. And that maybe happened to me one time where I was put into that very compromised position. And then after that, Jason and I had like a whole breakdown, and Jason and I had like a heart to heart, and he's like, you never. And I was like, I already knew that, but I felt like I had to. But then I used to, back in the day when I was so new with everything, Housewives would threaten and say, well, we're going to get legal involved unless you say this, or we're going to get this involved. And I was such a pushover and such a little bitch about it, because I really thought with them pushing their weight around, like, I can't afford for you to sue me.
Well,
what am I supposed to do?
They know that. They know that 100%. Yeah. And they like prey on that 100%.
Yeah. It's even like, to be honest with you, Lisa Barlow saying Angie Katzaneva's thing, like, get my attorney on the phone and cybersecurity and call Kamala and call the Obamas.
Exactly. Go the distance.
Go the distance. And also the prime minister. And I don't even know what bitch that prime minister is, but call that one too.
Justin Trudeau.
I want them all. Yeah.
100%. No, I'm like, Ashley and I are big on this. We're like, we are so like, all you have, it doesn't matter if you are like the hardest hitting news or a Bravo blog, or you have like 2 followers. All you have in this world is your name and your word. And I think it speaks volumes when people like don't give out sources and things like that. Like, because then like, what do you have?
Yeah, it's true. And my dad always told me my whole life, he said, it takes your whole life to build up a reputation, and it can be destroyed in 10 seconds.
Correct.
And that's, I mean, he said a lot of other things.
Yeah, but that's good advice. It's sound advice. So I understand, hearkening it back to Salt Lake, why Lisa's so upset with Whitney. And by the way, I want to say this, just because somebody gets defensive about something that you're saying does not mean they're in the wrong. They just like, you don't want people to lie on your name. I'm going to be upset if you say, Imani, you did X, Y, and Z, and I know I didn't do it. I'm not going to be, I didn't do that. I'm not going to get mad about that because I know I didn't do it. That's a normal human response, by the way. And Whitney was wild for being like, I caught her in a lie because she was mad about it. No.
Well, what kind of pisses me off about this with the whole Whitney thing is, like, I knew Whitney wanted it to be Lisa Barlow. As much as she says that she did not want it to be Lisa Barlow, it was, man, if I could have handed her the smoking gun that was the confirmation of Lisa Barlow, Whitney would have lived for it. And I know that. And I understand why. Like, it's not even a bad thing. I'm not even mad about it. But the harsh reality is when she asked me to look into a Claire account, an Instagram account attacking Bobby for weight and looks and all disgusting things that you should not attack a child for. Exactly. And then also this Alibaba shit. It's like she wanted me to find out, and I said, I will look into it. And she told me all of the reasons why she felt it could be Lisa Barlow.
All right, there's someone at my door.
Oh my God, no, take it.
Okay, I'm gonna go on mute super quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell all of you guys here really quick. So in talking about this, she was telling me, you know, like all of the things that I'm like blanking here really quick. The things that she thought, or the reasons why she thought it would be Lisa Barlow running this account, because she had heard that Lisa Barlow had other Finsta accounts, which is something that I also heard. So I said, you know what, Whitney, I am going to look into the accounts for you. I am going to do the due diligence. I'm going to ask the people. I'm going to ask Dana Wilkie, was it you? Welcome back, Amani.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No worries. So pretty much what I was saying is Whitney was asking me to find out, because she was hearing a lot of hearsay that it was Lisa Barlow, but production, in order for her to run with the story, they needed proof. And so I couldn't get the proof, and it was text message, and it's all right here. And it was the night of that party, one of the parties that they were filming. And Whitney was like, Adam, I really need it. Adam, I really need it. Adam, I really need the confirmation. I said, Whitney, they're not confirming anything. But I don't have confirmation. I can't give it to you. Like, after everything that you told me about her having these possible Finstas, and you have other friends who said that she could have been running them, I have people who told me that Lisa Barlow could have been running Finstagram accounts. So I believe that in some weird way. Like, you could be right. Okay. Boom. Runs with it, films it as if it's fact and it's true, which is not what I said, which is the part that really annoys me more than anything. Exactly. And then, of course, in order to further discredit anything that I said, you run with a phone call, the Franken edited phone call, with two totally different topics, knowing what you're doing, which is great. I got, you got me. Cool. But the point is, you didn't, because I was smart enough to record the fucking phone call.
That was so smart. Yeah, I'm glad you did that.
It's the dumbest thing. Like, I'm not getting bravoed. Like, guys, this is... So all I can say to you guys for Bravo, please, you got time. Figure it out. Fix it before you make me look like a joke, because if you try to make me look like a joke, I'm coming for you.
Okay, well, we're going to put out into the world, okay? You are... Oh my God, not the drink.
What? I'm just waiting for it.
No, we're going to manifest that you're going to be the bartender on Watch What Happens Live, and it's going to be iconic. And Ashley and I are going to be in the audience, because we have always wanted to go to Watch What Happens Live taping. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even think people can. But in the manifestation, we're putting that out there. And you're going to have a gagged gotcha moment.
Yeah, I would love that. Adam, you need to release the video. Is that legal to record without consent? Yes. Where I did? Yes. Very smart on your end, Adam, to record the call. My 100%. Opinion. I'm not going to release anything, you guys. I'm not going to release text messages, none of the phone call, nothing, unless I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to see how the season plays out, and then I will address it at the end of the season after I see how it plays out. Like, it would look silly for me to go on and release my private text messages with somebody who I considered a friend, Whitney, and just like throw her under the bus if in fact, like, you know, that was the first thing that was said. Like, that would be evil. So
yeah.
No, I'm going to watch the rest of the season, and then I'll make my decision.
Yeah, I think watch the rest of the season, but I'm excited to see how it plays out, and I hope you're vindicated.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
You deserve to be vindicated. Justice for Adam.
Justice for Listen, I appreciate that.
Of course.
With that, Amani, I always do this with Ashley, and I gotta let them know, if they don't know, will ya, where they can find you guys on social.
Yes. Ashley and I, we have an Instagram account. I'm more behind the Instagram, and she does a lot more of the writing. But I'm actually, you guys are going to hear this first. I don't know if anyone cares, but I work for Habitat for Humanity here in Florida, and I have given my notice, so I'm going to be full-time Taste of Reality here soon. So I will also be doing a lot of the writing too, alongside Ashley, because she's been carrying that, which has been amazing in our transition from taking over ownership of the company. It's just the two of us. So yeah, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on tasteofreality.com. We have discussion posts whenever like a Housewives episode is airing or Below Deck, whatever your jam is. And we're always, loving our taste buds. They call themselves that. That wasn't us. They coined the term taste buds on our website. So we love it.
No, I mean, I love the fact that they named it Taste Buds too.
I know. I'm like, that's iconic. That's everything.
By the way, your guys' new website looks so good.
Thank you.
When I first went on, because I always look at you guys and like a few other people in the morning to see like what's going on. And when I went on your website, I was like, no, Taste of Reality. And I was like, oh yeah. Ashley said that they're redoing the website because I didn't, and what's so weird, Amani, which you probably, I don't know if you think about this, but when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing now because it's not the version of it I know. And we all hate change.
Relatable.
Yeah. You guys have to go check it out because it's so organized. It's so easy to like get into, especially like what Ashley always says on here, and even Amani, you can go onto the live discussions. If you click on one of them, the live discussions, you guys can scroll down to the bottom. You can see the live chats where you can also engage with other people. I don't know how old you guys are watching, but it takes you back to like AIM and like MySpace and like the chats where you get to go in and be like, I can't believe this woman said this and screw that bitch. But, oh, I really like her husband. You guys can do all of that. Tasteofreality.com. Yes, mention it all. Mention it all. Let me just, I was trying to leave the wrong thing. But you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Happy Halloween to everybody, to all of those who celebrate tonight, even though it's Halloween and you guys are going to be trick-or-treating, or I don't even know what the hell you guys do on Halloween. But my point
watch TV, drink, I don't know.
It's still the Real Housewives of Orange County. And I think, and I got to text Ashley after this, I think Ashley is going to be around tomorrow for Hot Messy. I'm not sure, you guys, but I will ask her. Regardless, I will be here for Hot Messy topics. So happy end of October. Happy Halloween. And to Amani, thank you so much. We really appreciate the hell out of you. And I hope you have the best night.
Thanks, you too. Thanks so much for having me. I was nervous, but this was so much fun.
Good. I'm happy that you had fun. No, never be nervous, please. Anytime that I like message you guys on Taste of Reality and it's just like Ashley, like, please, you are always invited. The live chat loved you.
Oh,
anytime.
I appreciate that. No, this was the best time, and I love listening to you and Ashley. Yes, do not drink and drive. Uber, Lyft, all the things.
A $4 Uber, you guys, is way less than a $15,000 DUI.
100%. And, keep yourself safe and others safe. Totally don't drink and drive. But yeah, thank you so much, Adam. This was amazing. And I hope you have an amazing Halloween as well, even though you don't like it.
Yes. Thanks. Happy Halloween, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.